Let's build some polyominoes in Tabletop Simulator. I try to do one manually by going over and taking some cubes from the game, connecting them together using the Attach tool, and then tweaking the JSON a bit so that they were exactly where I wanted them. When I did so, I wanted to test them by going over and creating a little snap point grid and attempting to put them next to each other. And of course, we're dealing with Tabletop Simulator, so it almost wasn't good enough. Because this is a little janky, and I don't want that happening in my game. So I made this site. This site allows you to go through and build your own those things. By clicking on particular cells inside of this grid, we can turn them on. Let's say we want to make the set of polyominoes present inside of a really cool complete align block game. That probably would sue me if I try to say their name inside of a YouTube video. Yeah, that. You might be able to identify the game now. If you click on the tiles, these guys are off, these guys are on. Doesn't matter where you make the shape, the tool's smart enough to go, oh, here's the bounds of it. So clicking will add tiles and turn them on, but shift clicking will set a particular tile as the center. This tile must be on, so it must be one of these guys. If it isn't, it will turn it on. If you hold shift and tap a cell, it'll turn it on. If you hold shift and tap the same cell, it'll turn it off as the center. You need at least one tile turned on and at least one center in order to be able to add. And there we go. So I have my new shape. It will rotate around the center, and it will snap using the center. So I got that. Let's go ahead and add a couple more while we're here. You can see we're filling up our list down here as we go along. I'm trying to think of other shapes that exist. There's that one, and then there's the knight. Okay. So, when I'm done, I can either click on one of these to delete it. Let's go ahead and build that back. I want it back. Or I can click clear to get rid of all of them, or I can click download. When I download, I'm going to head over to my games, Tabletop Simulator, saved objects for this. I called mine Polyominoes. I'm going to go ahead and save that here. Notice it's the plural one. I have one in there that's already called Polyomino. And if I head over to Tabletop Simulator, and I head into my objects, and I head into my saved objects, and I head into Polyominoes, same name, there's my Polyominoes. So, I'm going to tweak this up. Well, let's use this real quick. So, let's try to do what we did over here. I now have these guys, and if I try to put them next to each other, they just click. You can't even see the boundaries unless you hover over them. The trick here, by the way, is that we have each cube is 1 unit by 1 unit by 1 unit. But for the collider, each cube is 0.9 by 0.9 by 0.9. So visually, they click together just fine. Ignore Tabletop Simulator doing these little black pixels. That's just a rendering thing. And they stack right next to each other just fine, and they rotate around our point of rotation just fine. Let's show that with this guy. He's rotating around my center that I created, and he's snapping using the center, so if I put him here, it works. But my grid only goes out to over here, so if I try to... actually, this should work just fine, but if I try to put this guy... yeah, I can't put him any further to the left. So I would recommend creating a snap point grid that's exact, and I made a little tool for that, but that's not this one. So making a grid that's exactly 1 unit apart would work for that. I want to be able to also change the height of them because I don't know that I love them always being 1 unit tall. as well as be able to put images or separate colors on the top of them. Right now, they're all coming out as green. So I'll tinker with that. If you have any questions about it, come over and ask me. If you have any tweaks that you'd like added, come over and ask me. If you'd like to send me a tip, head over to my Ko-fi link. Appreciate it. Have a good day.